Hello there, hello. My name's Karnak. I'm a cat on the internet. And this just in. Breaking news. Bao the whale has indeed managed to apologize for the recent drama. Congratulations, Bao. I'm certain that all of the people calling for an apology have forgiven you in their grace and allowed you to move on with their life. I'm sure that none of your critics and detractors would actively work to undermine your apology and call for quote-unquote further accountability and suggest you leave the internet and stop making content to heal. After all she needs to do is apologize, right? Alright. So this video primarily exists because I wanted to publish and share Bao's official apology on my YouTube channel, and I will read it aloud later. I also want everyone to know that unless there's a separate drama related to Bao, this is my last video on this topic. I have no desire to debate forever, and in good faith, I think it's right to just share the apology, especially since I was one of the videos who appeared, at least on the surface, to criticize Bao. Now, while I have you here, I thought I'd have another crack at going over the evidence from the prosecution as to what Bao actually did, and to address all the evidence in good faith to figure out if Bao hates men or not. Now, to help me present the detractors case, I'll be using content from a creator called Neevin, who's a small upcoming drama creator who seems to like games, working out, and writing books. In her self-intro, she also says she's proudly controversial for existing, she's a proud IDF veteran, and she believes in Israel's right to exist. She wants to be known for her opinions, as well as for just being Jewish. Now, to be clear, I would not personally bring up her Jewishness or her membership in the IDF if she didn't bring it up in her Twitch intro and also her X profile. Now, I personally do not find Judaism or Jewishness inherently offensive, and I hope you don't either. In her video, Bao the Whale, the tweet that exposed everything, went viral with 11,000 views, and the detractor community seems to feel heard by her, and they seem to have treated that video rather positively. So I'll be using that as an exemplar of the detractor case. Now, just to be clear what Bao is actually accused of, the general consensus from the detractors in my comment section, in Twitter discourse, and from other commentary YouTubers is that Bao is a misandrist. There's also another separate drama that Bao hates Skeb. So, is Bao a misandrist? Well, let's define misandry. Misandry is the hatred of men. It generally involves wishing ill will or negative outcomes to men, to the point of torture, stripping men of human rights and dignity, and the desire for humiliation and destruction of maleness. It is generally a philosophy of hatred. Typically, I would expect a misandrist to have the opinion all men are scum, or men deserve to be tortured, or boys should be castrated before they can rape people. Helpfully, there's a Twitter account that collects misandrist writings, so I can read a few out here. Now, despite my happy music, this is a content warning, as these opinions can be fairly intense, so allow me to read them for you now. This Twitter user writes, Crazy how I said this just a week ago and angered a lot of incels. Some men just gotta get castrated. This user writes, if we lived in a proper civilized society, it would look like this. Men would live together in military-style barracks on the outskirts of town. They'd be shuttled into work every day to fulfill their daily labor requirement, and then immediately sent back to the barracks, where they are pursued to all the busy and video games that they want until their heart's content. They'd be taxed at 90% rate, but their housing, food, AI-generated porn, and video games would be provided for them. The 10% they keep would be their disposable income to spend money on fantasy football leagues, weed, and AI OnlyFans models. All men would be free to submit their sperm samples to the sperm bank. All white men should be collared and leashed. Men don't want partners, they want slaves. So that's what I would call misandry. As you can see, the opinions might be very confronting, but it's quite obvious that all of these Twitter users hate men for their maleness and want them to be enslaved, tortured, or otherwise unable to fully express themselves for the rest of their lives. Now, let's read again what Bao said. If you're an up-and-coming female content creator with a small but growing audience, and a much larger and successful male content creator approaches you out of nowhere and showers you with attention on stream, in DMs, etc., don't walk, run. Now this is Neevin's response.
Let's break down why this tweet is a problem. If she had written black creator, gay creator, or female creator instead of male creator, this would be instantly labeled racist, sexist, or hateful, and everyone knows it. But because the target is men, suddenly it's a good advice and not a stereotype. Yes, power imbalance can be a real issue, but acting like every supportive male creator is a walking red flags isn't awareness, it's just socially accepted sexism. You can warn people about bad behavior without turning half of the entire gender into a danger sign. If your message only works when you generalize, the problem isn't men. The problem is how you've chosen to think about that.
And this is echoed by Misandry, who writes, 99% of people upset about the generalization of men are men. Wow, shocker. Look, I need to just say it because you guys will not fucking get it till someone specifically points it out to you in the most basic language possible. If a female content creator and a much larger and successful black content creator approaches you out of nowhere and shouts you with attention, don't walk, run. Does that sound offensive? Both of which create a similarity between two statements that are grammatically similar. Now, admittedly, most people will actually flee from this discourse. But luckily, I've been an internet debate lord long enough such that I'm okay with diving into it. Why is it that we interpret the statement on the left as a truism, but the statement on the right as racism? Well, that's because when we talk to each other, what we're doing is we're communicating ideas that we relate to. So, if I tell you, for example, that the sky is blue during the day, you'll nod your head. If I tell you that it's a shade of green, you'll look at me like I'm cuckoo bananas. That is to say, when we construct sentences and communicate ideas, we're generally trying to say things that we believe are true. Another way to look at that is to say that every sentence has a because attached to it, which reaches for an underlying fact or belief. So, the sky is blue or green because I perceive it to be that way. So let's get into the statements in contention and analyze their underlying beliefs. So Bao's statement on the left here is that well-connected, successful men predate on desperate women. Now this is known as a romance scam. Romance scams happen. They exist. In fact, I realized when I was driving today that there's a whole category of adult entertainment called casting couch, where rich men exploit vulnerable teens, and the hook is, oh, there is no job, but I'm telling you there is one, wow! I'm lying to get her to have sex, wow, it's f***ing. Now, I'm sure that casting couch isn't literally real, and it's just stupid entertainment. But the fact that this idea is culturally pervasive is true. That there are rich and successful men who do predate on desperate and lonely women. So when I read the statement on the left, I interpret it as because of romance scams, which is a real thing. And I think women should be aware of romance scams. In fact, according to the FTC, there are 70,000 romance scam victims per year in America. So typically, if you interpret this statement as misandry, you've put your own because on the end of the sentence. And that because is, because men are deadly. Now, I don't think men are deadly a priori, so that reading and interpretation doesn't occur to me at first. Now, while it might be a grammatically valid reading of the PSA, the onus is on you, the viewer, to tell me that this is what Bao means. You have to provide other evidence that her state of mind was that because men are violent. Now, on the other hand, the statement on the right, that well-connected, successful blacks predate on desperate women, well, to me, this throws up a red flag. Is this true? Is Oprah predating on young women? Is Will Smith? Is there a collegiate of well-connected, successful blacks predating on women? Are women inherently safer around whites rather than blacks? So when I look for a because here, I'm looking at this through a because lens, like why would somebody say this? I think of some of the obvious mindsets that lead to this statement. So to me, the most obvious argument in favor of this is the fable of the scorpion and the frog. That black people have an inherent nature to them which is predatory and dangerous. Now, if you're not familiar with the fable, the scorpion wants to get to the other side of the river. The frog helps him out, and the scorpion kills him halfway through. When the frog asks the scorpion, "Why did you kill me?" the scorpion says, "Because I'm just dangerous. Like, you shouldn't have trusted me." So a more sophisticated version of this argument is that there's some warrior gene inherent to people of African descent that helps them kill lions, but makes them dangerous in white society. It developed, obviously, so this gene developed in Africa, where people have black skin, because Africa's fauna is deadly. And this would equate blackness, having black skin, with an inherent more deadly nature. Now, you're free to make this argument if you want, and if you do, we would be wrestling on an entirely different dimension of, is this epistemologically true? But suffice to say, I disagree with this statement. In my experience, and from what I've seen, there is no genetic link between skin tone and criminal behavior. You have to make a more nuanced argument of social class and cultural conditioning to even start this line of reasoning. So the because of this statement on the right is what I would consider to be the racist statement, because black people are violent. And just to be clear, I don't hate black people. I'm pointing out that these two statements are not the same, despite the grammatic similarity. So in conclusion, when I see a statement on the left, I think, this person is wary of romance scams. When I see a statement on the right, I see, this person believes there's a link between skin tone and criminality. One I feel is true and wise, the other I feel is racist. Now, a statement that would be similar would be a statement with the same underlying because. So, for example, large male VTubers. If you're rich and successful and you have a lot of clout and a smaller cute girl VTuber is always in your DMs, reposting your stuff, trying to get in your VC and sending nudes, don't walk, run. I believe this is exactly equivalent because it's a warning about romance scams on the male side as opposed to the female side. Would this statement be interpreted as misogynistic? Yes. By absolute unserious dorks. Like, if you're really stupid, yes, you could interpret this as my underlying philosophy that all women are terrible. I'll say it again, by idiots. They're being idiots. I don't know what else to say. I think that if you take a warning about romance scams and you make it personal and you start spurging out on social media, you're a complete dweeb, and I'm here to make fun of you. Listen, you don't like beat the misandrists by preemptively being a cunt about PSAs on romance scams. Like, that's not how you win, like, against misandry. Okay. The only way you combat unserious interpretations is by calling them unserious interpretations. Anyway, so now that you have my perspective on what the original Bao tweet means and why I think there's absolutely no problem with it, here are a bunch of clips of reactions to Bao's tweet by itself, and we'll see what they have to say about Bao's tweet. Rev says des.
It begins with a tweets made by Bao the Whale. Now, she made this response that many think is talking about situations like the one involving the Mizkif allegations or other stuff as well, where she basically says that if a large male content creator approaches you and love bombs you as a small female content creator, run. Okay? Now, some people thought she was generalizing all men. I don't think in this post that's what she's doing, but my correction is that, well, large male content creators can do this to small female content creators, and large female content creators can do this to small male content creators, and even further, large female content creators can do this to other female content creators. Now, like I said, a lot of people looked at this and said, oh, Bao's saying all men are bad. And I think, again, based on this context, maybe a bit of a reach, but her response in the coming days and when she was facing criticism for this post is making people scratch their heads.
Mama Oko
was when Bao decided that she would make a tweet giving a somewhat generalized statement about men, or famous men in the sphere in general. I think it would be important for me to say that the overall message may not necessarily be a bad message. Yes, it is important for women and men to protect themselves from potentially predatory individuals who might want to shower them and gaslight them into thinking that they're a good person just so that they can use them later on. I may not even disagree completely with the statement. I can pretty much count a couple of different times where men and women have used their positions of power in the content creation scene to get things in their own lives or take advantage of other individuals.
Content creator with a small but growing audience and a much larger successful male content creator approaches you out of nowhere and showers you with attention on stream, in DMs, etc. Don't walk, run. And obviously, yeah, that is the small little statement that she made there. And I don't think that is, anything crazy. I think that is pretty understandable. Obviously, there's a lot of people out there who will try to take advantage of up-and-coming female content creators and also male content creators. And I think that, obviously, the nuance is where some people are starting to get annoyed at Bao. Now, I don't...
So it turns out, by itself, nobody had an issue with the tweet. And it wasn't that bad. So basically, when I objectively look at this tweet and look at the reactions to it and look at my own interpretation of it, and even when I consider the best argument that I've found from the detractor side, what I conclude is this tweet's a nothing burger. So I'm going to put it in the nothing burger category and I'm going to move on. The next main point in Neevin's video is that Bao's a hypocrite, because Iron Mouse is friends with Sea Dog.
Word for word against people she's friends with. Yes, I'm talking about Iron Mouse and Sea Dog. Iron Mouse was still fairly small creator when she started collaborating with Sea Dog, a much larger male creator at the time. So what now? Was he danger too? Was that a red flag? This is their first stream collab back then. It's actually pretty cute.
Now, obviously the difference is that Sea Dog doesn't trade in sexual favors with Iron Mouse for clout, so he wasn't a romance scammer. Of course, an example of men being good and a positive boon to the scene and a broader society is great, and Neevin and I both agree Iron Mouse and Sea Dog's relationship is very wholesome. Now, because the tweet itself was a nothing burger, the hypocrisy allegation of Neevin here falls flat. You haven't yet demonstrated that Bao hates men, so this it too is a nothing burger, like by extension, because they're sort of connected with each other. Sea Dog and Iron Mouse existing doesn't negate the idea that they're romance scammers. So the next point is that she went to a Discord. So the next point is that Bao went to a Discord and blamed the Pyropups and grifters for the backlash.
She went to a Discord and blamed the Pyropups and the grifters for it. One who doesn't know, Pyropups are basically Stendar's community, her fans. So instead of taking responsibility for tweeting something sexist, she's accusing other creators' fan bases of spreading it. You wrote the tweet, you posted it publicly, people reacted, that's not conspiracy, that's consequences. And then...
This is not proof of misandry, so it to me is also a nothing burger. Like, this doesn't prove Bao hates men. This is not an underlying super serious... This is not an underlying manifesto that men are evil. So, I like this. This is not sufficient. This is not sufficient demonstration to me. The next point is that Bao liked a tweet from Yuka VT saying, men that are crying about this are the same men that cry about us saying we choose the bear, referencing an intimate meme about women feeling safer with bears than men. Alright. So here's what Neevin has to say.
She liked this post. Men that are crying about this are the same men that cry about us saying we choose the bear. Let me explain what that actually means. It's based on that old joke where women say, if I was alone in the woods and I had to choose between a random man or a bear, I would pick the bear. Let's pause here for a second. A literal wild animal is being painted as safer than a man, and the post she likes takes it even further. It mocks men for being upset, as if their reaction is the real problem, not what was said in the first place. So to be clear, she's not just ignoring criticism, she's openly liking and endorsing a post that suggests men are more dangerous than a predator in the wild, and that it's funny to say so. You don't accidentally like something like that. At that point, it's not a joke, it's a worldview. So not only did she double down on the original tweet, she also liked a post that mocks men for reacting to it. And then, after all that...
Now, Neevin claims that this is indicative of Bao's worldview, that liking a tweet is not accidental, and that she's subtly indicating that her deep and latent misandry, by liking this tweet. Neevin sort of conveniently forgets here, I'll just say that she probably did forget that likes are no longer public, so she's not publicly liking the tweet. Like, it's UKVT that made the like public. Anyway, the question becomes, why would Bao like a tweet? Well, I have a few reasons that Bao could have liked the tweet. 1. Bao thought it was funny. 2. Bao wanted to support a creator that she likes. 3. After 4 years of content creation, Bao has snapped, and she wanted to send a message to all of her male simps, her collaborators, and followers that she's a deep and abiding misandrist. Men are over. This Twitter like is her manifesto to the world that men have no rights, should be castrated, imprisoned, and forced to do hard labor. Sons should be feminized. The new matriarchal world order will have her at the top. Now, Neevin believes it's reason 3. I personally think it's reason 1. It turns out you can like things that are funny without fully agreeing with them. Like, maybe it's just a middle finger to a cancellation mob. Like, who knows? Like, she thinks outrage is ridiculous and unserious. Like that could be a reason. Like, she had a giggle and clicked a button on an app. Like, it's not that serious, bro. So I put the like tweet into Nothing Burger, but to be fair, your mileage may vary. Maybe you're in Neevin's camp and this is definitely an instance of the third option. The next point. Bao characterizes her own tweet as "be careful of Harvey Weinstein situations."
She also liked a post that mocks men for reacting to it. And then, after all that, she replied to a YouTuber with 1.5 million subscribers who asked what was going on. He tweeted, "Just woke up. What the fuck is going on?" And her response was, "I said if Harvey Weinstein invites you to a party, don't go." And it ruffled some feathers. So now she's pretending the whole situation started because she made a harmless joke about Harvey Weinstein, when in reality, the backlash wasn't about that at all. It was about her tweet stereotyping male creators, not a joke about convicted predator.
Now, Neevin says that Bao's being disingenuous and pretending that the tweet is something that it's not. I asked Neevin for proof that Bao's pretending here. What's the evidence that she's lying about her own opinion on her own tweet in her own state of mind? In fact, if this is Bao's genuine reading of her own tweet, it reinforces that Bao doesn't hate men. She only hates men like Harvey Weinstein. So this is also not proof that Bao hates men. This is a nothing burger. So next up, we go into the Skeb drama. So again, like, just on the misandry side, like, the Skeb drama doesn't prove Bao hates men. Now, the only thing I can say personally about the Skeb drama is that she apologized separately for it, and basically, in my opinion, it's Bao's right to complain about a company if she wants. I did find a good faith criticism of Bao that she should be more careful in using her platform, and Bao agrees, because that was in her apology. If you want to read through a proper criticism of Bao for the Skeb drama, I found my new Twitter muti, Sylvie Close, the Mecha VTuber. She had a really good breakdown of the Skeb drama, and yeah, she actually, like, she also said, like, Bao apologized, so, like, as far as I know, this is not an issue. If Bao complained about Walmart, or if Bao complained about McDonald's, McDonald's and Walmart would also face, you know, harassment, quote unquote, from Bao's audience, so I don't see a problem with criticizing companies personally, but I understand it is unprofessional, but not evidence of misandry. Next we have Bao's comments on stream. Alrighty.
Same time she posted that clarification, this clip from a live stream started blowing up.
Canceled 4 times in a month, canceled 4 times in a month. Nuh-uh, guys, it's not being called canceled, it's called engagement farming. Thank you very much. Here we go again. Come on, you can't be for real. Guys, I'm so fucking dead ass. Who's actually going?
My bait's queen. Get those likes and follows from enraged people. Now before I let Neevin joke police and nitpick Bao here, I'm just gonna say, you can make a streamer say anything in 17 seconds. This obviously doesn't prove anything, but, like, you know, let's just say that it does prove something, okay? Let's say it proves something. If Bao was just engagement farming, like, that would mean, like, her original tweet which was characterized as anti-male, was not her true opinion. So this would mean that she's pro-male. So we're done. The clip proves Bao's pro-male if you take it seriously. Now, I think that, like, from watching the clip, and I've seen this clip a few times, but it makes me laugh every time. It's sort of obviously a joke. Like she's responding to a chatter who says cancel 4 times in a month, 4 times in a row. And she's like, no, no, you. It's like, no, you. Oh, she said no, you. That means that she's anti-male. Oh my god, no, help. She's mocking male victims because she said no, you. Get a grip. So this is in general taken as mockery of like male issues. Now, I don't understand, and you have to explain to me where exactly in this thing she was mocking the male suicide rate. I don't understand where she was mocking male sexual assault. I don't understand where she was mocking lower university entrance rates. I don't understand where she's mocking anything other than the internet outrage machine that's been dunking on her for 2 weeks. 2 weeks!
Ash, who's actually going?
In the clip, she literally says she's not being cancelled at all, and that everything she's been posting for the past few days was just engagement farming. So now we have 2 problems. She's telling people they misunderstood her and acting like the backlash is unfair, while admitting she was intentionally stirring drama for attention. And the second problem is, you can say, I'm not being cancelled, I'm just farming engagement, and then act shocked when people call you out for it. You can play victim and I did it on purpose for clout card at the same time. Either you meant what you said or you were baiting for numbers. Both options make you look bad, just in different ways. And here is her apology post, supposedly. Let's go through it.
Alright. So finally, we have Bao's apology. Bao's apology reads, I haven't been acting like myself at all. I feel that this year has poisoned me deeply, and I'm not able to focus on anything other than the negatives. It's all I can think about, and it's not fair to air it out in a space that's trying to heal. I'm impulsive, and I don't think things through. I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and that is a terrible combination. It's irresponsible and really dangerous. I'm very sorry. At worst, I'm dumb as fuck, but I'm not malicious. Now I broke this down myself to somebody else, but an apology to me has 4 key elements. And those key elements are, this is my personal context, this is how it was wrong or led to damage, I'm sorry, this is how I'll do better. So for me, when I read this apology, Bao clearly hits 3 of the 4 key elements, which is remarkable for an apology about a set of actions that are all nothing burgers. Firstly, who is she apologizing to? Who was seriously and significantly damaged by Bao's tweet? How do you apologize to the men of the internet when all of the major drama commenters agree the tweet was a nothing burger? What actions or statements did Bao make beyond women should be safe on the internet, which was then taken as like a massive anti-male manifesto? Where is the misandry even? You can't like take a bunch of nothing burgers, magic it into a something burger, get offended by it, and then make Bao apologize for it. It's ridiculous. Bao is only offensive in your mind. You've constructed a version of Bao that doesn't exist. She's just a silly singer that was annoyed at Mizkif and made a PSA about romance scams, and you took it personally. Now, I'm sure that Neevin, because she's asked for an apology multiple times in her tweets before this, I'm sure that Neevin is going to look at this apology, graciously accept it, and then finish her video.
This is her apology post, supposedly. Let's go through it line by line. I haven't been acting like myself at all. Translation: something is wrong with me, not with what I did. Already shifting focus away from the actual issue. I felt that this year poisoned me deeply. Now it becomes about her emotional state, not her actions. Still no mention of what she did or who she affected. I am impulsive and don't think things through. That's not accountability, that's self-diagnosis. She's saying I'm flawed, not I was wrong. It's irresponsible and really dangerous. Sounds strong, but notice she never says what was irresponsible or what was dangerous. It's vague on purpose. At worst, I am dumb, not malicious. which is basically, I didn't mean it, so don't blame me. Intent over impact, classic non-apology move. And just to be clear, the "I'm very sorry" line in the end, that wasn't even in the original post. He added it after people called out the fact that she never actually apologized. Thanks to Sparky, by the way. So yes, this isn't an apology. It's just a long emotional explanation with zero ownership.
So as a bonus, we have the "You edited her apology" drama. So I don't know how this works, but generally this is taken by detractors as evidence that Bao isn't sorry, or that the apology is somehow invalidated because she edited the apology into the apology. I don't understand the logic. So she wrote a tweet, she looked at it, she decided that she wanted to apologize clearly, and then she edited in a clear statement saying "I'm sorry." So I don't know how to read this in any way other than Bao wanted to be clear and that she was sorry that this happened. It shows clear action and intention to apologize.
And then she started blocking tons of people on Twitter, not just haters, literally regular people, some of her own fans, people with barely any followers, just for replying with their opinions. She wasn't engaging, she wasn't clarifying, she was just silencing anyone who didn't agree with her.
Sorry, there's another part. Apparently she's blocking people for criticizing her. Again, this isn't proof she hates men. Is it petty? Yeah, sure. But you know what? I love petty people. So get blocked, nerd, cope and seethe, go be dumb fuck in someone else's replies. Like, I don't care, Bao doesn't care, nobody cares.
I genuinely hope she gets the help she needs, and more importantly, that she learns how to take responsibility for her actions. I'm saying this seriously, I'm tired of seeing women think they can dodge accountability just for being emotional online. All of this could have been solved with one simple sentence: "I'm sorry, I was wrong." But instead, we got a paragraph of excuses. Let me know what you think in the comments, and have a great day.
And that's Neevin's video. Instead of using the comment feature as she suggested, I figure I'll just say it here. Neevin. Bao doesn't hate men. You're goofy and weird if you think any of this proves that Bao hates men. The evidence is so paper thin, you can't even thread the needle for 8 minutes without irrelevant bullshit about Skeb or the Pyropups to like try and make your point. Nevertheless, great video, Neevin. Very entertaining. I think you're goofy, but I thank you for being the voice of the detractors, and it was very well presented and put together. Congratulations on going viral, and much love. Okay, so before I can close, I did have one or two fairly good YouTube comments that contained detractor points that I wanted to respond to quickly, so I'll do it here. Firstly, financial incentive. The idea is that because she's incentivized to like men, she hides her latent misandry. Okay, I'll agree that it is feasible, it is possible to hide an underlying hatred of men, but it becomes less feasible the longer you have to do it for. So what you're saying is that Bao has hidden an underlying hatred of men for 4 years with all of these eyes on her, and the first big anti-male event is like 4 years into the career. Now, I think the financial incentive is actually more likely that she likes men, and the financial incentive reflects that she likes men. So she's financially successful, in other words, because she likes men, and not because she hates men. Second, she only apologized due to a lack of followers or business reasons. So, while she did lose 600 followers, you're mind reading her as much as I am. Ultimately, nobody knows anybody's motive for anything. Like, I would say what's more reasonable is that she came off wrong, felt bad, and apologized. This more accurately maps onto my personal reading of her nature. So while I will concede that losing 600 followers could have been a motivator for her to come out with an official public apology, I can't come with you to the level that this means that Bao doesn't feel sorry. Like, I'm sure that losing 600 followers does make her feel sorry that she did anything at all. She probably feels bad about it because she realizes that she came off wrong. Thirdly, she showed her true face in the drama. So this one's a philosophical difference. And to understand the philosophical difference that I have with this statement, consider the following question. Is a man at his truest form sitting in a garden or battling in a war zone? In the garden, killing is wrong, but in a war, it's perfectly acceptable. There's good arguments for both if you think about it, and I usually say the garden. So We built this society around us not to tame our savage nature, but because our nature is peaceful and we needed society to express ourselves properly. So what this means related to the Bao drama is that I think an adequate and good defense of this is that Bao is under a lot of stress right now, both due to personal reasons because of the Cinder document, and you know, this streaming is a stressful job, man. Don't know what to tell you. So I think that because she's under stress, she's making mistakes and she's not really expressing herself as she normally would. So as for my close, Bao is a singer. She's been entertaining us for years with her streams. Her thirsty moments with werewolves, her inability to think her way out of a paper bag. Bao is not a rabid, raging feminist. She is not a political lesbian. She's just a girl in the world, doing her best. Importantly though, she's not a debate law drama queen, so expecting Bao to handle every drama and every person's emotions perfectly when she's upset, it's unrealistic. So the best apology, this is to Bao, the best apology is good content. Stream and meme, keep those numbers up. Alright, until next time, my name is Karnak, I'm a cat on the internet. And to the men, the male audience members, the debate lords, the obnoxious, the loud and the quiet, VTubers, women, me, we don't hate you, man. You're important. Never forget that you're important. Bye now.